We received confirmation that Ezekiel had trisomy 13. So moving forward, we decided to visit the maternal fetal medicine twice a month. So we would see them every 2 weeks. And then aside from that, we would also see our OBGYN like we normally would.
I think as far as moving forward and having, what we did on a medical front was just every appointment that we went to having questions to make sure that anything that we discussed during the 2-week period before every MFM appointment, we would go back with questions on, statistics or, what's the best options right now? Should we start, preparing for this? Should we not start preparing for this? And so I think the fact that our experience was so cold and negative the very first appointment, we didn't rely so much on them and tried to work closely with the OBGYN because we felt a little bit more, love and care from them, the fact that they helped us with our first daughter. And I would just say, having questions to go back to them on as far as, what are next steps? What does this look like for us? Can we prepare for this? Can we do anything to help with it?
We also had to decide whether we wanted to see or meet up with a heart specialist up at Primary Children's. That was an option that was given to us, given that Ezekiel's heart had lots of complications. We decided to go, so we did go and meet with them as well. As far as other medical stuff that we did was just like Brenton said, make sure that we knew our options so that we could bring it to them and they could kind of elaborate on them, because I felt personally that unless we were aware of our options, sometimes they wouldn't really mention those things to us. So that was really, really important. And again, those are things that I learned from other moms who had been in this experience. So some of the things that I did to navigate throughout the rest of the pregnancy after getting the confirmed diagnosis was I tried to figure out a way to live my pregnancy happy, because I didn't want my pregnancy to be filled with sorrow. So I remember trying to take time out of my day to read to my son and Jade at the same time, and just find little moments in life that I felt like he was partaking in. So instead of just thinking, oh, I'm pregnant, this kind of just sucks, I would take the moment and say, I'm so glad that he can be a part of this with us, because I didn't know how long he would be with us. So it was hard because there were still so many moments during the pregnancy that were definitely sad. But overall, I think that changed my perspective, and I was able to enjoy as much as I could with my son in my belly.
So after we received that information, we decided to mainly post it on social media after, taking time to let our family and close friends know, and then posting it there. And then I feel like once we had put it kind of out in the universe, we had lots of people reaching out saying, my aunt went through this, my family member went through this, and just lots of people that were very open to sharing their experience, whether it was 6 months ago, 6, 20, 25 years ago. And I think one of the biggest things for me was, having a coach from, my previous high school reach out to me and actually talk to him and his wife on the phone, that they had a daughter that went through the exact same thing. And the fact that they took time out of their evenings was, a big support to me, knowing that we're not the only ones going through this. Obviously, people might not share their experiences because it can be traumatic, but knowing that there were other people going through it and they, were there to help us and answer any questions.
So we didn't really buy any baby stuff once we got the confirmed diagnosis, because from other moms in the community, I've heard that some of them did, and then they would come home to an empty nursery, which would be really hard. And then some of them didn't, and they found it easier to just prime things the next day. And, we had what we could have possibly needed because we have a daughter. So we had a car seat, we had all the essentials possibly. So we just didn't want to get our hopes up and then have to come home to that. I do remember that because initially we weren't going to find out the gender. After we got the diagnosis confirmed, we did decide to just go ahead and find out. And we did buy him a few little outfits that we felt we could use at the hospital if we got to meet him when we got to meet him. So I think we probably bought maybe like 2 outfits. My mom bought him one, my dad bought him one, and then a blanket. Like we had special blankets for him, but we never bought anything crazy.